Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of Nigeria, Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, officials representing the partner organizations, Ambassador Josepha Sako, African Union Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture, Gilbert Hogbo, President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Rora Turk, Vice President for Sustainability for Sustainable Development, World Bank Group, Maria Elena Semedo, Deputy Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Dr. Martin Fregen, Director for Agriculture and Agro-Industry, African Development Bank, Dr. Ismail Serageldin, Emeritus Librarian of the Library of Alexandria, scientists, honorable and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to be with you tonight. It is an honor for Rwanda to serve as host for this important gathering on African food security. You are most welcome. We are especially fortunate to be joined by brothers, the former President Obasanjo and Prime Minister Haile Mariam. Thank you both for your outstanding leadership on this topic, which is so crucial for our continent. I would like to take a moment to emphasize the significance of the communique that has just been signed. First, we see the 5 key organizations coming together with a common agenda for African agriculture. Working together with that clarity, we are going to get a lot more done. In practical terms, it means that the commitments and priorities of the multilateral institutions are fully aligned with the African Union's Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Union's Comprehensive Development Program, CADEP, and Agenda 2063. This is a major step, and I congratulate you. Second, the communique reflects the urgency of the food security situation in Africa. We are off track with the Malabo Declaration target to eradicate hunger by 2025. In fact, since it was signed in 2014, undernourishment has been rising again in many African countries. almost 20% of Africans are undernourished. Here in Rwanda, we have had our struggles on this. But I assure you, with the knowledge that has been put in our hands, the technology, the support of partners, and ensuring that everyone participates, we are going to fix this problem. And if we succeed, and we are going to succeed, I want to say, if we can, everyone can. This will, the undernourishment will negatively impact today's children throughout their lives. If the trend is left unchecked, the entire human development agenda in Africa is at risk. We cannot allow that to happen. The third feature of the African Food Security Leadership Dialogue, which is also the most important one, is that the necessary actions are clearly spelled out. I want to refer to the point made by former President of Nigeria, President Obasanjo, that we really need political action. We need execution. We need to do the very things we have possibilities for, and we know we can do for better results. For example, there is no doubt that climate change is the main cause of the slower growth in food production in recent years. We already know that, but we also know what can be done in these circumstances. Compared to the late 1980s and early 1990s, there has been a 5-fold increase in the frequency of climate-related shocks in Africa, especially drought. Most of climate change's contribution to poverty will come via agriculture. Therefore, the communique puts a heavy emphasis on implementing climate-smart agriculture policies, investments, and research. Conflict is another driver of food insecurity identified in the statement. Security and governance are the basis of everything else we wish to do. Agricultural policies must take account of this wider context. Let me conclude by highlighting the essential role of the private sector and of African economic integration. Productive agriculture depends on a complex value chain of goods and services. But African markets are fragmented and inefficient. Most of our farms lack scale, and investment in ICTs and data tools is still very low. As food travels from farm to table, a great deal is simply lost to waste. And overall, we are producing much less than we are capable of. We cannot put the blame for this situation on changing weather patterns. Africa's farmers were poor before we saw or acknowledged climate change becoming a factor. So there are many problems we need to tackle at the same time and not seeking for an excuse in one instance or another. We cannot afford to go on like this, and there is no point we cannot change. Improving the enabling environment for agriculture is something we can fully control. This is the reason why the African Continental Free Trade Area is of the very highest importance for our future. The AfCFTA is now in force, and trading will commence in January 2020. Equally important is the harmonization of food safety standards and trade facilitation platforms across Africa, both through the regional economic communities and through the African Union. Increased agricultural productivity is essential for eradicating hunger and undernourishment. But food security is not where we stop. We want a continent that is truly prospering in every sense of the term. And agriculture is undoubtedly the foundation of Africa's prosperity. That is the large ambition we must challenge ourselves to achieve. We owe it to generations that follow us. I will, therefore, on this point, wish you fruitful deliberation tomorrow. But for now, let me ask you to relax a bit over dinner and enjoy a very pleasant evening in each other's company. Thank you for your kind attention.